Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so very much. I wonder sometimes when I come to these budget forums, will everybody clap after the end of the budget? Today, I'm releasing my recommended operating budget for the year that starts on July the 1st. This budget, as with all those I've recommended in the past, is all about matching county needs with resources that are available. That hasn't been easy over the last 8 years due to the Great Recession. I have closed over $3 billion in budgetary gaps, putting our fiscal house back in order, making the investments still necessary to ensure a better future for all of us. Despite all of these challenges, we've maintained our coveted AAA bond rating throughout the Great Recession, overcoming federal deficits, shutdowns, sequestrations, and layoffs. This success is saving the county taxpayers millions of dollars in the years to come. This budget signals that our hard work of fiscal responsibility is not quite over. We see lower than expected income tax revenues, a still fragile national economic recovery, and prospect for less state funding. I do not know that our challenges are not over as it relates to the Wynn case, soon to be decided by the Supreme Court. If the state of Maryland loses that case, it would mean that Montgomery County will probably have to pay somewhere in the neighborhood of up to $115 million retroactively and $25 to $30 million going forward, each and every year. That's a huge sum. County government spending goes up by only 1.1%. Let me repeat that. County government spending goes up by only 1.1%. I'm holding the line on the county property taxes and providing a $692 tax credit. This budget also recommends keeping the county's energy tax at its current level. While this budget carefully constrained in some areas, it continues the county's significant investment in our schools, the creation of good jobs, transportation, affordable housing, public safety, our positive youth development initiative, senior programs, and help for the most vulnerable in our midst. Although my recommended budget is essentially a same service budget, I strategically look for places in which we can make investment to improve job growth and expand our tax base. We are increasing the county's investment in biotech, expanding our focus on cybersecurity businesses, and making sure that job-creating projects that are ready to go will be permitted within 30 days. This new initiative will get our buildings constructed sooner. It creates more jobs and makes the county tax base larger far sooner than before. In short, this budget tightens the county's belt on spending while investing in excellence for a better future for all of those in our county and beyond. A couple of highlights of the budget. This budget includes a tax-supported county government spending of $1.4 billion, a 1.1% increase over this year. A total county budget of nearly $5.1 billion, a 1.4% increase. It provides record funding for Montgomery County Public Schools of $2.2 billion, and it is within the maintenance of effort required by state law. That represents a $31 million increase over last year, or 1.4%, and is nearly 98% of the Board of Education's request. My budget also includes an additional $27.2 million from future health care and retirement benefits for MCPS, thereby making this amount available for funding for MCPS in FY16. It reduces the property tax rate by 0.9 cents per $100 of assessed valuation. The average county household will see the average county household, average county price and value of $455,000 in FY16 will pay only an increase of $15 per year. That's $15 per year. Over the past 9 years, the county's percentage of county residents' incomes that goes to county taxpayers goes down by 6% overall. This budget includes funding for biohealth innovation, a public-private partnership that is working to commercialize the significant biotech research taking place in the county, and increase county investment in our business innovation network. It increases funding for the county's cybersecurity business efforts as we prepare to break ground this spring on the Cybersecurity Center for Excellence here in Montgomery County. It increases staffing at the Department of Permitting Services to guarantee a 30-day turnaround for permitting of ready projects to continue in our business-friendly endeavors. Now, let me add that the increases that you see here are through our enterprise fund. So it does not really add to the overall increases that you see for the 1.1%. Now, that enterprise fund is significant because it has helped us, and we are looking at ways to improve the efficiency of support for our business community. We've done a great deal in streamlining the process, and we look to do even more. It will allow us to meet the 30-day turnaround that I've suggested. In this budget, we recommend that the solid waste fee be reduced by 4% across the board for families and businesses. It increases funding for the Development Disability Program by $1 million. And it provides nearly $44 million for affordable housing programs. Now, if you look over the last 9 years, under my administration, we would have invested approximately $660 million in affordable housing programs. That leveraged an additional $1 billion from the private sector and the nonprofit sector. I don't think that you'd find any other community around this area that have done as much. Now, I did make a pledge that I wanted to provide a 2.5% of the property tax for affordable housing. This budget does not meet that objective. I repeat that. This budget does not meet that objective. In order to meet that objective, I would have had to take monies from other programs that help the very same people that the Housing Initiative Fund is trying to assist. Therefore, I decided to go as high as I could and to maintain this at a level that I thought was affordable. And I hope to come back sometime in the near future to try to achieve that 2.5% objective. It provides $7 million for senior housing projects in Silver Spring and Glenmont. And it provides a 5% increase for our public libraries. Now, this is one of the few areas that you see in this budget receiving this type of an increase. But I want you to keep in mind that over the last 5 years or so, we have reduced the contributions to public libraries by approximately 28%. And so with the increases this year, as well as last year, we still have not reached back to that goal that we all want to get back to, that is to fully fund the libraries at the level that we had just 4 or 5 years ago. So there is a 5% increase, primarily for materials. Last year, we increased it to ensure that we have greater access by expanding the hours for the libraries. For the first time, we will fund body cameras for our police. Now, let me make a statement here about body cameras. This is not to suggest that we do not have confidence in our police. Montgomery County Police, the men and women in our police department, have done an excellent job. Our management, our leadership is excellent. We just simply believe that this provides not only the police, but our public with even greater awareness of the tremendous work that they are doing. So for the first time, we'll have funds for body cameras for the police. In addition, we will fund now new vests, protective vests for our police as well. Also in public safety, we will increase staffing to ensure that our Santa Spring Fire Station is up to the staffing levels that we want, as well as providing additional personnel to get the apparatus out in a timely fashion. Now, if you look at all of these things together in public safety, We have significantly reduced crime. We have significantly improved the response time of our fire and rescue service, in some cases by as much as 39%. We have built 5 new fire and rescue stations in the county in the midst of a recession. This is a huge investment in public safety that I think would be worthwhile. It provides now, this budget provides a $3 million increase in the contributions to Montgomery County College, a 2.6% increase from last year's budget, which is about 98% of their budget request. Now, if you look at the college over the last 2 years, there was an increase last year of 17%, an increase this year of 2.6%. The combination over the last 2 years will be a 20% investment in the college. It provides a $1.8 million increase for the National Capital Park and Planning Commission. That is a 1.5% increase, at least 96% of the agency's request. Now, it provides a modest, I say modest, 2% increase for all of our employees. Let me thank all of our bargaining units for the agreements that we've achieved. You know, we've had some challenges over the last few years where we did not have agreements. We will go back into bargaining sessions this fall, and I hope that we can continue this progress. But the 2% is something that I think is well worthwhile, and we can afford this 2%. Keep in mind that over the last few years, we reduced the county's workforce by 10%. There were no increases for a number of years, COLAs. We had a number of furlough days by many of our employees, and we reduced the county's contributions to health and retirement. That has saved us a great deal of money that allows us the flexibility to do much of what we are doing now. The increases that you see here are simply a reflection of the contributions that they have made in the past for many, many sacrifices our employees have given up. That's a huge, huge benefit to this county. So I'm hopeful that we will continue to have this increase in our budget, and I would urge the county council to, in fact, to maintain this 2% increase for our employees. This is something that is helpful. Now, this budget keeps the county on target to obtain a 10% county reserve by year 2020. And it maintains funding for the mandated level of revenue to pay for future county retirees' health. This budget, if I have to describe it, is a budget of what I call unanticipated challenges, but also opportunities. The challenges at the state level, challenges with the national economy, the challenges with the legal challenges we see at the Supreme Court. But it also provides us with opportunities to build on this. Now, one may wonder, how is that we were able to put all of this together without raising the taxes? Number one, very strong indication that we could not obtain 9 votes to raise the taxes. Number two, I said before that we will raise taxes again on the property taxes. And my assumption is that we'll probably have to do it next year. That increase, in my opinion, is made possible, and not made possible this year, because of the savings that we've had and the set-asides that we've used. We've used essentially all of our options not to do it this year, but we cannot continue this path. And we see a very, very strong signal that we'll have the increases for years to come. I don't want anyone to be mistaken about that. The options that we've used now allowed us to avoid it, but we cannot avoid it very long, and it very well may be significant. This is a standstill budget, but a budget for opportunities. I know that there are some disappointments. I know that people wanted more, but we have to keep sight on the larger objective. I do not want to make a mistake in this budget. I want to be cautious. I do not want to end up winning the battle this year and losing the war long term. We avoid that, but we do not avoid a very major battle that will come. And many of the challenges we see will continue for a period of time. But this places Montgomery County in a good position. I hope that you understand the decisions that I've made and why I have made those. And if you look back over the last few years of the revenues that we've provided, the increases, and all of the things that we've done to make this possible, you'll see the wisdom of that. You may now see the wisdom that we have $17.5 million that is coming from the ambulance fee. You may see the wisdom that we had many years ago when I introduced the water, when I increased the fuel energy taxes when I was on the county council. You may see the wisdom that we had to have a fee for our water and our sewer that allows us to avoid some of the challenges that other communities are having. That is now at 88.4% in our budget. All of those things we placed in the budget over the years to soften the blow on the property taxes. But at this point in time, it is difficult to see that a future for us would allow us to avoid it forever. I believe that we have some work ahead of us. I believe that we have an opportunity to close this gap with the school system because there still is a gap. And that gap could mean very much higher class enrollment and a teacher-student ratio that we cannot accept. And this is why we need your help and support from all of you to make sure that the funding is provided in Annapolis to close that gap. If we're able to do that, we'll have a budget that is pretty close to the same service, allow us to take advantage of this brief respite period to move forward to ensure that we not only compensate for what the wind case may do, for all of the increases that are built into this budget. That's the direction that we should go forward. Let me acknowledge and thank the members of the Board of Education who are here, all the members of my cabinet, and all the people who've helped put this together. I want to especially thank Tim Firestein, our Chief Administrative Officer, and his team, but most especially our Budget Director, Jennifer Hughes, and all of your people who worked to put this together. This was a very difficult budget, but I think it is a budget that we can all be proud of and one that we could work on. Thank you very much for coming out today.